Hey, what's up guys? I got another build for you today. This build is a status effect damage, ghost weapon damage, healer Ronin. The idea behind this build is to be able to output as much potential damage between both of those types as possible, most often while using it to hold CPs and constantly heal yourself and your team. I'll go ahead and go over tactics during the video, but we'll go ahead and get started. One of the main things you want to do with this build is what you're already seeing. You want to stay mobile. You want to use the environment to your advantage. When you place your Caltrops, the reason I placed them where I did is because I wanted the enemies to follow me. Just in case they did, they would cross over the Caltrops as I circled around and tagged the barrel, so they could go ahead and have all the status effect damage that I have going for me applied. Ronin can get up to 110% ghost weapon damage. It's the highest potential damage out of any class in the game, so you want to utilize that as often as possible. This build is sitting at 107%, so the way you want to use it is to utilize the Caltrops as a trap and also as space creation between you and the enemies that are currently around you. You also want to utilize the Spirit Kunai as your main finisher, so you could constantly get your abilities back. And you want to utilize Flaming Roar or Healing Incense, depending on the team you're with. I run Flaming Roar if I'm with a team of friends that I'm pretty confident I'm not going to have to use Healing Incense often, so I just take the extra little bit of DPS. If you're with a team of randoms and you're not 100% sure of what they can do, Healing Incense is going to be the better recommendation there. Now, because the build is also stacking status effect damage, using status effect damage rolls on the Charm, as well as the Bomb Pack and Fire Master as a perk on the Charm, I also have Way of the Flame and Burning Blade on the Katana to be able to apply that damage as often as possible. The other thing you want to utilize a lot with this build is the Bomb Pack, because the Black Powder Bombs scale both with ghost weapon damage and with status effect damage. So you're applying both of those damage types with the Bomb Pack with those specific bombs. One way you can do this is you can utilize flash bombs to hold a group together. You could throw one of those out there first, stagger enemies, keep them still, and then go in and toss your black powder bombs and hit the largest radius of enemies possible and kind of spread the love, spread that damage around as much as you can to make finishing them off with the Spirit Kunai easier. Now, another tactic you just saw with the flash bombs that you can utilize is to throw one into a group of enemies after they've been weakened. If you don't have the Spirit Kunai ready, you could just run up and take care of them really fast with melee finishers. The reason you want to play this way is because this build is not designed for you to go in and just annihilate enemies with melee. That's not how Ronin needs to be played. What you want to do is you want to utilize the bombs to weaken enemies for SK, but also for melee finishers if you don't have Spirit Kunai available. So that's another tactic you can use as well. Again, you want to stay mobile. You want to go ahead and move around. There's going to be a lot of dodging, a lot of space creation. You want to notice where exactly you can jump to, where little vantage points are. The mindset you need to have as a Ronin is an extremely tactical and team beneficial one, while also understanding when to press your advantage. And that kind of goes into the final point I want to make about the pros and cons of the build. The pros of the build are obviously the healing. You're going to have your healer all quite often, especially in team play. So that's not something you're going to have to worry about. You're going to be able to keep yourself and your teammates alive. You're going to be doing a bunch of status effect damage as well as ghost weapon damage. Those are going to be your two main sources along with your bomb pack. These are things you're not going to worry about. However, the cons of this build are the melee damage. You have very little ability other than fire application to do any kind of damage up close. And the other con is going to be the second perk. I have combat regeneration because it fits my playstyle. If you want to swap combat regeneration for a resolve increase, I could see that. I don't know that that's necessarily a con, but that second perk on the charm is going to be very playstyle dependent. So that's something you need to think about as well when you make this build for yourself.